Let's talk about nesting seams. And what I mean by that is when you have quilt blocks that you're stitching together, okay, so these two are together, but I need to stitch those to these two. And so I have to figure out how those are going to fit together and make sure that they meet in the middle. Okay, so what I would do is take this one, and they say press toward the dark. And so on a piece like this, it's easy to tell I'm going to press all of my fabric toward the dark piece. So I want this little seam right here that's sticking up to lay down on the dark piece. So we just kind of finger press that down. I'm not pushing really hard because you don't want to warp your fabric. It can get out of hand really quickly. Then flip that over and do the same thing. Kind of just kind of press a little with your fingers. Of course, you can take it to the iron and really, make that lay down flat. But for now, that's good enough. And then I'll do the same thing with this one. And I would consider the one with the blue is going to be my dark. So when I open this up, I'm going to have these two pieces, and I'm going to push everything toward the blue because I consider that the dark on this particular set. And then just kind of finger press that down. Now, I want this piece to fit to this piece, but I want these to line up in the middle really well. And thankfully, my flowers are sitting side by side. That's a little much for me, which thankfully they're the right color because these are considered the light and these are considered the dark. So what you have to do is flip one of these around. So flip that one around and it distributes your color and it gives you your seam lock right here. So what you do, this seam is going toward that fabric and this one is going toward that fabric. So when you lay them on top of each other, they're going in opposite directions, which is exactly what you want. So what you would do is double check, just bring your edges up, make sure this piece is laying to the left and your bottom piece is laying to the right, or vice versa, however you're holding it. But what you want them to be opposites, okay? And so you can kind of check and make sure that your seams are lining up really well. You can kind of just fold that down and then check that line, your seam line on both pieces, and just kind of roll it up with your finger. And then you can look in the center here and you can tell that those pieces are going to lock together. Now to keep them locked together, obviously you want to put a pin in that. I always pin my seams. I don't use a lot of pins in quilting, but I do use them on the seams that I want locked together. So then when I turn my pieces around and get ready to put them under the needle, and I just stitch down through here, of course, pull the needle out when you get close to it. Pull the pin out when you get close to it and sew off the edge. And then when you open this up, those seams will be perfectly lined up and they will lock together in the center. And that's what you want.